back to this big win for the Chicago Bears episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Ice Fisherman of the Year, Tony Sapita. He caught some beautiful fish. Make sure you go and check out our Instagram. We have a couple of the pictures up from him. But week 17, Bears win big, 29-3 against the New York Giants. Oh, baby, the Bears have a new single-season sack record leader in Robert Quinn. Eddie Jackson remembered how to tackle, and David Montgomery just loves to score touchdowns. So, Tony, the defensive backs even played well. Yes, it was against Mike Glennon. Shout out to him. His neck keeps getting longer. But overall, the defensive back, I just want to start off with Eddie Jackson was popping dudes today. He was going off today.
Yeah, he was absolutely ready to play. I know we're going to talk about it in a bit, but I definitely think he smells the end is coming of this era. It's like, okay, not only does he want to get, probably paid again in the future, but it's like, all right, I can start trying again. I don't have to take all these plays off.
And so also
great to see.
And earlier this week, he was like, I love Coach Nagy. Like, he's the guy, like, we're all behind him. And Allen Robinson's probably in the back rolling his eyes, and Akeem Hicks is rolling his eyes. And overall, like, Eddie Jackson, he's just kind of saying whatever he has to say. And I thought he played well today, but then again, you have to go back and go, you did it against the Giants. And last time the Bears played the Giants, he had that pick six that got called back. So Eddie Jackson, if you go anywhere else, go to New York, because you seem to love the Giants.
It was very funny. I was driving back today from ice fishing, so I was listening mostly on the radio. First of all, love Jeff Joniak. Dude, it might as well be my dad doing, play-by-play. He is so into it, and he is such a homer in a good way, and I love everything about it. But he brought up a good point. Eddie Jackson has so many touchdowns taken away from him because he was so mad on that. He definitely punched that ball out. And I know it was probably forward progress. I didn't really hear the explanation exactly. But, I mean, he got that ball out. He recovered the ball. He was in the end zone. Adds up to me. That's a touchdown. But they finally got the safety, that's always pretty fun getting the safety.
And there was also a lot of calls, speaking of the defense, let's kind of hit on that in a minute. But, Robert Quinn was not, I love that someone tweeted us today. I tweeted out, man, Robert Quinn has held every play. They're like, no, he's tackled. And it's so true. Robert Quinn always had two linemen laying around him, or someone just falling on top of him. And he's throwing his arms up, and then the camera goes away because they're like, oh, we got to take that penalty out of there. But Robert, he broke the record today, which is obviously extremely impressive. I'll get into a little bit more in a little bit, but one thing I want to ask before we get into everything is that the Bears play with a lot of heart today. They just went out there, and yes, they were against a bad Giants team without their Mitchell Trubisky and Daniel Jones. But, did the players earlier today during, the morning, there was report, we tweeted it out. We put it on our Instagram, is that Matt Nagy reportedly, no matter what, is getting canned after the final game. So next Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings, apparently he's getting canned on Black Monday for coaches. So positives, there was a lot of positives that came out of this game. We'll name them all in a little bit, but do you think players that Allen Robinson started playing harder? Dave Montgomery always plays hard, but the linemen, we only gave up 2 sacks today, which is great against a pretty decent front seven in New York. Their defense isn't terrible, but I think that they were playing a little harder today because they're like, oh man, we got to get ready. We got to start attracting a new coach, and hopefully Ryan Pace keeps us, because it's reported that Pace is staying as well. But Tony, I don't know. I kind of felt that they were playing a little harder for all the right reasons today.
Yeah, it definitely felt like, it's evaluation season. It's kind of, at your job when it's like, oh, it's November, December. I'm going to get my, my evaluation coming up, maybe get a raise. It definitely kind of felt like that, whether it's a guy like Allen Robinson, who may not be back with the Bears, but he's still trying to earn, he thinks he's worth, $20 million a year. He's trying to earn that next contract. Or like you said, these other guys that are, whether it's fighting for a spot on the team or fighting for another contract from Ryan Pace to get extended, or we'll see who the GM ends up being. I know they say they're sticking with Ryan Pace, but I don't know. We can talk about that a different day. It definitely felt like they were playing a little harder. It kind of had a little extra spring in their step. I think that was a really good observation by you.
And when it didn't even matter, this game did not matter. I think a lot of guys also were playing for Robert Quinn to take heat off him so he can go after it. But let's go over the defense really fast. Bears played ex-starting quarterback. The first big signing of Ryan Pace's career was Mike Glennon, who had -7 net passing yards on the day, 24 total without sacks. So sacks pushed him back. He had 2 strip fumbles today on top of 2 interceptions, and then 4 sacks today for the Chicago Bears front seven. One of them being Robert Quinn's record breaker. He now has 18 on the season with 1 game left. A guy who only had 3 sacks last year. A lot of people were saying we're a bust and was overpaid. And what's really cool about this entire thing is that Robert Quinn had the opportunity yesterday to speak with Richard Dent on the phone, and Richard Dent made it known that he broke the original Bears record back in 1985 in only 10 starts. Robert Quinn did it in 16. So total dad comment by Richard Dent, had to throw it out there. But again, congratulations to him. And the potential future Robert Quinn was out there on the field. Travis Gibson, who had 2 strip sacks today. The Bears finally have their second string defensive end that they can rely on. He's under contract for another 2 years. Another great late round pick by Ryan Pace, which makes the conversation even harder if you keep Pace or not. So the defense played absolutely out of their minds today. So Tony, I know that you are a big Mike Glennon hater. How did you feel seeing the long necked man out there just absolutely getting ripped up?
It's so funny. I knew I heard a stat and I looked it up. I typed in Mike Glennon last win on Twitter. And what I found was his last win as a starter came in Pittsburgh on September 28th, 2014. He was on the Bucs, actually. So it has been that long since Mike Glennon has got a win as a starter, according to Twitter and according to Zach Zaidman, blue check mark. That's, I trust it. So
I thought he got 1 win with the Bears against the Steelers at Soldier Field.
This tweet is from 2017. It's the top one on Twitter. I got screwed right there. It actually did come on September 27th, 2017, which was the Bears.
In Pittsburgh.
My apologies, everyone. That was a quick on the fly lookup. So it was fun. It's fun to beat up on a bad quarterback when it's typically us having the bad quarterback getting beat up on. So it's just nice to flip the table a little. And I know we mentioned that safety already. That was so funny because it felt like a Bears play where it's like, they're going to, something, either they're going to fumble on the goal line or it is going to be a safety. It's one of those, just which down is it going to happen on? So that was great to see. They obviously, like you said, the boys were playing with so much heart. Whether they're playing for next year or it's just pure pride, like, screw it. Let's have some fun. Let's beat a defense trash team, whatever it is.
The defense was the face of the game today. The offense did fine. Montgomery had 2 touchdowns. A passing touchdown from Andy Dalton to Darnell Mooney was great. But overall, I mean, like, you look at the stats of the offense against a bad Giants team, and they weren't that sexy. Last week was sexy. That was a good game against Seattle. I know that you were saying it, Tony, but let's go to the offense real fast. Should Nick Foles have started this week? Just full out question.
Maybe it really doesn't matter. I think I was a little more hot about it going into this week. Like, oh my gosh, Nick Foles got the win. He deserved it. That honestly, if we really broke down last week's game against the Seahawks, it really was a struggle for, the entire middle of the game. And then obviously the Seahawks are just, I don't know what's wrong with them. So then obviously coming into this game, I've come around on, okay, Fields is banged up. We don't have to throw him in these last couple games. Although I see it as an extended
you're
preseason.
On that. Are you on that train now?
Only because he's injured. Because he's injured. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Tony.
If he was fully healthy, I think this would actually have been a great game for him to play, just because the Giants are so bad, and so the injury risk is almost lower. Like if it was the Bucs, I wouldn't want him to play. But let's talk about what actually happened in this game with the offense. Andy Dalton, 18 for 35, 173 yards, a touchdown, interception, took 2 sacks, lost 11 yards. I know that he definitely struggled on a couple throws. One of them I had initially tweeted out, listening over the radio, just kind of trying to get on some people's nerves that it was Andy Dalton's fault. I now went back. It was Allen Robinson's fault. I don't blame him.
Wait. When he's saying that he's trying to get on some people's nerves, you want to know whose nerves he's trying to get on? Me. That's all I got to say. Exactly. It was me. So Tony, say you're sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. Andy Dalton stinks, man. But I will say him and David Montgomery threw the same amount of interceptions today. That was as annoying as it was, and I wish they scored. It was kind of a funny play. It was a classic Matt Nagy, like, all right, let's get a little trickeration. We're finally going to throw the ball on Wildcat, and it was like 10 yards short.
Montgomery can't throw the ball.
I don't even know who picked it off. It is funny. He's our 4th string quarterback, technically, when we only have, when we only got 3 on the roster. I know we got that one guy, Ryan Willis, I think his name is.
Yeah, but Ryan Willis, number 19.
David Montgomery rushing was a little bit better. It really wasn't a big statistical day for, scoring basically 30 points. Dave Montgomery, 22 carries, 64 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, 2 touchdowns is awesome. We said it already. The defense, though, I mean, those first 2 drives absolutely set him up. That was just awesome. Andy Dalton, I didn't realize he had 14 rushing yards. Okay. Maybe he is Justin Fields, just a little older. Khalil Herbert. So Khalil Herbert, in my opinion, this is just my take, and I think this is what should happen next week. Dave Montgomery, maybe a couple snaps. I know he probably wants to play. That's fine. Give him a couple carries. I don't think he should play anymore the rest of the season. Don't put more miles on him. There's no reason not. And Khalil Herbert's not bad. Like, that's the thing too. If we had nobody, like everyone was hurt or something like that, I'd get it. But Khalil Herbert is good. He's young. Get him, again, extended preseason. Get him these reps. So I guess I'll just finish off with the receiving here. So Darnell Mooney, 7 catches, 69 yards, a touchdown. He had that touchdown on the second drive of the game on a objectively decent throw from Andy Dalton. Put it kind of where no one else could catch it. And then Darnell Mooney made a nice catch as well. It was just a good play overall. Allen Robinson, 4 catches, 35 yards. And then Cole Kmet, I'll just stop with Cole Kmet. 3 catches, 25 yards. Those
were good catches, though.
Looked better. Yeah.
He looks good.
Extended preseason, man. I'm telling you, extended preseason. That's how we got treated.
I just hate that they're still not using Jimmy Graham. Like, Jimmy Graham, whenever they use him, good things happen. So I don't understand the disconnect between why Jimmy Graham isn't getting more reps. I know when my dad and I were watching today, like, he was like, why are we not using him? And we say it every single week. Jimmy Graham's, I think, is going to retire after this year. Great guy for the community, great guy for the team. But if the Bears were to bring him back on a 1-year, like $2 million deal, by all means, would I be fine with it? Like, I would,
at the very least, just play him, like, even if it's only red zone. Like, I don't care. I get, I hear what you're saying. Use him more, and I think we can both agree it's like just a big guy in the end zone. Give him a target, even if it's just a distraction, whatever it is. He can still catch a football. Yes, he's probably not going to run a 60-yard fly pattern and lay out for the ball again. But
right,
yeah, I agree with you completely.
Big dude, big plays. That's all I got to say. So the offense overall, I think, did a fine job today. They got the job done, but it was mainly the defense's day today.
Yeah.
But before we jump into our next topic regarding Matt Nagy, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Lou Malnati's. Lou Malnati's, a true Chicago classic established in 1971 in Lincolnwood, Illinois. Doesn't get much better than deep dish pizza when it comes to Lou Malnati's. Download the Lou Malnati's app today and get points every single time you order, which eventually leads to free pizza, free salad, free wings, free cookies, and more. Get yours today.
I love Lou Malnati's. I love it more that I can order from my phone, get rewarded from it. I was missing it. I was craving it this last week because that would have been perfect for, up in the cold, just pack on, just the warm comfort food. So make sure you order today. We love it. And we know you will too.
So Matt Nagy's, what we love too is hearing that this is likely Matt Nagy's final home game. And again, you don't wish any bad on anybody. That's not what we're here for. But Matt Nagy's time as what?
I said, but
Matt Nagy's time with the Chicago Bears is done. His offensive rankings have only gotten worse as years have gone on. Players have become frustrated with him. People don't want to come here. It's just not working out. And out of all the coaches the Bears could have had, they chose Matt Nagy. They had a lot of faith in him. 2018 Coach of the Year. Shout out Vic Fangio for getting him that reward. But overall, the days are done. Like, Matt Nagy, 5-game losing streak this year, lost 8 out of 10 at one point, had a 5-game home losing streak, 5-game losing streak the year before, just completely, and then the year before that, a 4-game losing streak, completely unnecessary. Just his time is over. So word broke this morning that he is getting likely canned January 10th, 2022. Once the Chicago Bears season has concluded, Nagy is confident, though, from earlier this week that he will be leading the Bears next year. Kind of shows where his head's at. But this sounds, from the sounds of it, they're moving on the team and keeping Ryan Pace. So whether that be president of football operations, because Ted Phillips is likely not going to have that position anymore. He's going to go back to the accounting side, sit in his cube and play with whatever one of those, that ball thing that goes back and forth. And then
abacus. I know what you mean. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called. I was thinking the big calculator, an abacus. Yeah.
Or that too. He'll have that too. But can Nagy, even with Nagy ending the season on a 3-game winning streak, potentially, he has a 2-game. He still has to go to Minnesota and beat the Vikings, who are fighting for a playoff spot. So they're going to play with their starters most likely. And the Bears, again, extended preseason. We're already saying shut some of these guys down. Does it really matter if Matt Nagy wins on Sunday? I mean, it looks good on the resume, that he ended with a 3-game winning streak. But then you look at the defensive rankings that he went against. You had the Giants, you had the Seahawks, the banged up Seahawks in the snow, and then you had the Vikings, who are one of also the worst pass defenses. So Tony, what does this mean for Matt Nagy if he wins upcoming Sunday, even though he's likely to get canned the next day?
He can tell his next, employer, like, basically, like, hey, did you see they still played for me, even though I was out the door? I can lead men, whatever. Again, I would not fire him as a friend. I would not fire him as, my father, whatever it is. But as the Bears head coach of football, it has to happen. It's not, it is his fault, but it's a business. It is what it is. We're bad. We need to get good. He is not doing it, et cetera. It's no ill will towards him. He always has been a good guy. He had a great thing today. If we're going to comment Matt Nagy for a second, for Jeff Dickerson's son, they donated, was it $7,600 in honor of the fact that, it was a cool story. Jeff Dickerson predicted the Bears would take Tevin Jenkins in the draft, and he's number 76. So that was a cool thing on the way out the door. However, he's got to go. If we beat, I think we want to lose to the Vikings if we're gonna just play it by the numbers, because second round draft pick, but doesn't matter, man.
I think that we're still I think we're still high enough because the NFC and AFC playoff races were so tight this year that the Bears are still going to have a top 10 first round pick, most likely. I want them to win so the Giants don't have as good of a first round pick, because the Bears, if they're one spot back in the second round, like, who cares? And also the Bears can trade into the first round if they really want to, depending on their GM situation and who they end up keeping next year. So a lot of things with that, but I just want to make this announcement very quickly. Now that Tony said he would never fire Matt Nagy as his dad, I have to get Tony a shirt that says Matt Nagy's my dad. So overall, I'm kind of with you, though. Great motivator, great hype man, good creative ideas. Club dub, kill. Like, I love when, I don't know why, but I like when any of our quarterbacks go kill. I don't know why. It's just like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, and then it's like, oh, it's a draw. Like,
yeah, because they're killing it they're killing the offensive drive. Exactly. Yes. No.
Yeah. I think that there was good intentions there. It's just that Matt Nagy wasn't the guy. So just hire someone else. But on to Minnesota. That's all I got to say, is that we're on to Minnesota. Tony's already kind of hit on it that we do. Tony, do you want to win on Sunday or no? Do you want to end it on a lose?
I've decided we can win. I will allow us to win, just because I was thinking, like, okay, if like the Vikings, we're not going to hop the Vikings, I don't think. Actually, maybe we could. I guess if they lose tonight, I guess we could. Basically, I just don't want that second round draft pick to be behind. I don't want to help any of our division opponents get a better draft pick, but it's really not. It's not that big of a deal. It doesn't look like. I guess, yeah, screw it. Let's beat the Vikings.
Let's win.
Let's just beat Minnesota. I hate the Vikings. Let's beat them.
So the Chicago sports teams are undefeated so far in 2022. Just want to put that out there. Bulls are going to win all week. We already know that. And then if the Hawks end up playing this week, because I guess that I think that's the NHL is allowing games again.
Yeah, I think they're playing tonight, specifically Sunday night when we're.
Oh, they're at the UC tonight. They are at the UC tonight. Mm-hmm. But overall,
it's 1-1.
It's 1-1. So if everyone can win next week, just keep the winning going. Just never lose to the NFC North. I don't care what it means on the line. So that's where I'm at too. We're saying that the Bears win and Matt Nagy on somewhat of a positive note. And hey, Robert Quinn, get 2 sacks on Kirk Cousins, be the first Bear to get 20 sacks in the season. That's it. Bears win. All
Works
right,
for me.
We will go over that. We will go over that though later in the week. Stay tuned for our Bulls episodes this week, because now that the Bears are done, it's full blown steam ahead Bulls train. Tony, last comment.
My last comment on the Bears, what they should do, what Matt Nagy should do on his way out the door. You hear about it at the end of the year every year with these different teams. He should be like Santa Claus and just try to get these guys their bonuses. The guys that deserve it, not Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, but like Darnell Mooney, if he's got 3 more catches to do whatever, just get these guys a couple extra bonuses going out the door. And you know what? We'll just wipe our hands of it, start clean and amicable. We can give him a good recommendation for his next job, whatever he needs. But yeah, that's my final comments.
So with that Thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year of Chicago. Bears win big 29-3 over the New York Giants. Bears are now 6-10 on the season, going for 7-10 this upcoming Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. Stay tuned for that. We will have weekday episodes for you this upcoming week, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you have notifications turned on and comment below your thoughts. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year of Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Tony Sapito. We will see you guys next time.